Unwrapped is brought to you in part by Cooler Guard with the cleaning power of enzymes, Fish Donkey, Hoffman Lures, White Rocks Design Studio, the official design company for Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped, Sugar Mountain Trading Company, Okuma Fishing, Get Inspired, Bennington Self Storage, P-Line, J. Robinson Outdoors, Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped hot sauce with that big craft heat and that big craft taste, the Outdoor Experience Guide Service serving Southern Wisconsin for over 20 years, Corker Boats, and a proud member of the Southwestern Vermont Chamber of Commerce. Would you like to have your business on Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped? For more information, email us at osuradiotv@gmail.com. Hey, welcome into Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped. I'm your host, Chris Bates, and boy, what a show we're going to have today. I traveled all the way to Lake Geneva, Wisconsin to hang out with my good friend Dale Helgeson, who's going to finally take me on a bluegill true fishing trip where all it is bluegills, no walleyes, no bass, no any of that. Dale, thank you again for this. I appreciate it. No problem. I love coming to Lake Geneva. It's great. It's a great lake that, you know, is big. What is it, 5,000 acres?
It's a little over 5,000, 5,200, I think it is.
So, tell me a little bit about bluegill fishing, because we've talked many times about it. I always wanted to go on this tiny fish fishing trip, right?
Yep, you are about tiny fish.
Right? So, tell us a little bit about the bluegill population and the amount of bluegills in here.
So the bluegill population has really exploded out here. I think a lot of it has to do with, you know, we didn't have a very good winter this year. So the ice fishing was only about a 2-week season on portions of the lake. Some of the lake never even froze.
Wow.
So a lot of people fish bluegills in the winter, and that didn't happen. So the bluegill population is really big this year, and they're all over the lake.
Right.
If anybody wants to get a kid into fishing, bring them out here because they are everywhere.
And what kind of, you know, I noticed too that there's variations of the bluegill.
Yep.
And in Lake Geneva, what is that? Like what would that be? You have an actual bluegill, and we're going to show people the bluegill after we catch one. You'll explain to them what it is.
So yeah, there's bluegills. We have a lot of regular bluegills here. Mm-hmm. We also have a lot of pumpkin seeds here, which they have a little different coloration, same basic shape, but their colors, they're very beautiful fish. There's
We're
a lot more
show them
in them.
to the camera when we get a couple, right?
Yeah, they're pretty thick.
Yeah.
Versus the bluegills are a little thicker. Their meat's a little more yellow tinted versus white.
Yeah.
But they're very close relative, and they swim together. They'll be together in these schools that we'll find.
And table fare wise, what, you know, a lot of people say, oh, they're panfish, and what is the way really? Is it the fillet? Is it to take off the scales? What is it about a panfish that's so attractive to the table?
Well, I just think they're just a good eating fish, and they're a small fillet, right? They're only going to be a little fillet. So you can cook them a lot of different ways. You can bake them, broil them, you know, fry them. Yeah. If somebody's into more of a breaded fish, they're great. You can have more breading than fish if you want it on a bluegill.
Right.
Where if you take a walleye or a northern and you get a big fillet, it takes more breading to compensate for if you're not a big fish eater.
Right.
but they're great table fare. They're very clean fish. They don't have a gamey taste that people talk about.
Right.
They're very clean, so they're very delicious to eat.
So
One of
I know
my favorites.
out east, and I'm from the Midwest, and a lot of my viewers know I'm from the Midwest, and I always say I miss the food, and I loved to come to Wisconsin for the fish fries, right?
Yep.
And they have bluegill fish fries, or they have the walleye pike fish fry, those. But we don't have that out east.
It's just kind of a Midwest thing.
Right, and that's the weird thing about it is but it's fun. I love to come back here all the time. So how are we going to be catching these things?
So out here, we're going to be out in about 30 to 50 feet of water.
Yeah.
Really deep. Usually, most lakes, even around here, you're going to fish in the weeds for bluegills.
Okay.
They like the protection of the weeds. But Lake Geneva is kind of a different lake because it's so deep. It's 152 feet deep.
Wow.
So the fish seem to go out deeper in the summer.
Yeah.
Even the bluegills they'll be out in 35 to 50 feet of water with no weeds. There's no cover. You'll just see big schools of them, and they try to protect themselves by the pure numbers.
Oh, I see.
And you will actually, while you're bluegill fishing, you have a shot to get walleyes, smallmouths, because typically they're going to be down at the bottom, and the bluegills will be up off the bottom a little bit. And that's why we use the drop shot rig. So the weight's on the bottom, and the hook always stays up off the bottom.
I see.
So you're not getting into the bottom. That keeps it in the strike zone.
Yeah. That's good. And there's multiple ways you can catch them, right? Bobber fishing, just with a weight, just with a, there's so many easy ways, and that's why I wanted to do this.
Yep.
I wanted to come out and literally just go catch panfish.
You can literally drop it straight over the side of the boat.
Right.
You don't have to cast. So if you want to teach somebody to catch fish and have them just reel in fish,
right,
this is a great place to come do it, because you can literally just drop the line in the water.
So before we run out of time, I have to ask you this. On drop shotting, which I've done before, how do you feel the bite as it's dropping? Because I'm sure that's going to happen.
It will happen a lot because a lot of the bluegills are suspended.
Right.
And if we can get it to keep the bait up a little higher, and almost pendulum it down. So if you do cast, really close your bail, don't let it hit the bottom, and it'll swing down through the fish.
Okay.
And they kind of just go tap tap. Bigger ones will grab it, but they're not crazy aggressive. So a lot of them, and if you get a walleye or smallmouth, they just grab it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So, but the bluegills will have little taps,
like my small stream trout. Tap, 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 tap.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
The 3 taps. Set the hook.
Yep.
Is it straight up, sideways? How are we doing that?
If you're going to pendulum and try to get the suspended, going sideways works pretty good.
Okay. So
because you're kind of swinging it.
Right.
If you're going straight down, just set it straight up.
Okay. All right, folks. Hang tight. We're going to come back with more bluegill action right after this.
Hi, I'm Jonas Spivak from Bennington, Vermont. You're watching Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped.
We're going to let this bad boy go, but wow, look at that fish.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Wow.
The Outdoor Tip of the Week is brought to you by Bennington Self-Storage.
Hi, Dale Helgeson here with your Outdoor Tip of the Week. Today we're going to talk about crawler harness, one in particular. This is by Walleye Nation Creations, and it's called the Death Harness. And what it does is, not only do you have your spinner blade, you have a treble hook with a swivel, and it has a death hook on it. So I'm going to show you how to hook this up. Because death hooks are a little different, and this death harness is a little different yet. So I usually leave a little tag end of the crawler, and I thread it onto the death hook. So you thread the death hook until it's almost all the way up to the top, and I pop it through the hook just a touch. And you want this to be at about a 90-degree angle, because this thing you want to rotate in the water. And then you take the treble hook and you just pop it through the top of that crawler. So you can either run a whole crawler, or if you have really long crawlers, you may want to, or if you get a lot of short bites, you're going to want to pinch a little bit off the end of this so you don't get those short bites and you get them on the hook. When this thing runs in the water, this crawler will actually rotate too. It'll corkscrew in the water as well as your spinner blade spinning. So, and that is your outdoor tip of the week.
I am Erica Tanner. Stay tuned for more Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped right after this.
Hey everybody, what a great time I'm having catching panfish with Dale Helgeson and Bobby G. I got one on the line right now. Bobby's got one. We got a double going. Pan fishing is fun, just so you know. If you ever want to go pan fishing, look at this. Drop shot, the whole thing. That's a nice one over there. Boy, look at that.
About the size of your hand.
Nice one, Bobby.
That's a beauty.
I got the midget. Midget fish. All right, we'll come back with more, but stay tuned. We want to talk all about what they are. So later on in the show, we'll get to that. Hey, welcome back to Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped. What a time I am having here on Lake Geneva here in Wisconsin with Dale Helgeson and our cameraman, Bobby G. Earlier in the show, we talked about catching bluegills and pumpkin seeds, and we were able to do that. And I'm going to have Dale here explain the difference between the two fish.
So the fish are related, but as you can see, the bluegill has it actually has a gill plate that has blue in it with an orange belly, and it has kind of more vertical stripes. Pumpkin seed is a more spotted fish, and it has blue veined throughout the gill in the cheek, and it has a little more spotted look, but they are cousins to each other, about the same size. Bluegills are more prominent than the sunfish, the other sunfish family.
Pumpkin seed.
The pumpkin seed, and there's other sunfish. The panfish family is very huge, but these are the two we predominantly catch here.
And you could tell too by the spots. There's no mistaking the two fish. So when you're out fishing for these particular species, there's no mistaking it. All right.
It's coming up. Is it by the trolling motor?
Oh, he looks like it made a pretty nice one. Huh?
So you can see with these bluegills, this pretty orange belly, and this is why they call them bluegills. They have this little blue gill plate that comes up from their mouth along the backside of their gill. But very beautiful fish and great table fare. When did you start fishing?
With my dad when I was 8. Coal City.
Nice. Were you an avid fisherman or just occasionally?
Well, mainly when my dad, so I would have to say, oh, I lost it. I would say when I fished, I really fished hard. So I would say not average or avid, but very enjoying it, like.
Well, and fishing's a very enjoyable sport. It's very relaxing. I mean, we're sitting out here catching bluegills today. You know, we get a beautiful day out, little breeze, so the bugs aren't going to get us.
A bad day fishing is better than a good day in the office.
Well, this is my office.
This is your office, so you better not have a bad day. My office was on a mound. Now they call it the bump. I hate calling it the bump. I still call it the mound. The pitching mound, which changed when Bob Gibson had a season of a 1.45 ERA. Then they lowered the mound 3 inches.
So what's your favorite fish to target? If you could go anywhere, what's your favorite fish?
Tarpon.
Tarpon?
Yeah, those things come out of the water like a missile. Beautiful. You catch them right outside of Key West, you know, the little shiner bait, they call it, a silver bait. Boy, those fish come out that water like those balls that they hit off me going way out of the open. They were like rockets. Ask Dick Allen. Holy. Thank you, Captain.
So if you had to fish an inland lake, where's your dream destination? Inland, not on the ocean.
Inland.
And for what species?
I don't know. I'd probably like to go up north somewhere. Maybe by the Canadian water, somewhere up that way. I like
Lake of the Woods. Or
Lake Champlain is very good fishing.
I've actually never fished Lake Champlain.
Well, it covers 3 states, so I think it's kind of interesting. I love the rivers in Montana. I fished there many times. Some of the lakes up in Seattle, when I played ball in Seattle, beautiful, beautiful lakes, beautiful ocean. You got the Puget Sound there. Oh my gosh. I don't know.
What's your favorite fish to eat?
Oh, you got to give me a perch, the pan perch. Phil Schmidt's was a famous restaurant in Whiting, Indiana. It was renowned, and they had little frog legs that they got from Bangladesh, of all places, India, and perch they got in the northern waters up in Canada, and they were about if you don't know Phil Schmidt's, then you just can't really understand it. But it was one of the most wonderful meals. I told my daughter, I said, honey, my last meal better be a Phil Schmidt's. Then the casinos came, and it ruined the business because people were going to the casino and betting money and getting their dinner there, and they weren't going to Phil's anymore. Very sad story. My father knew Mr. Schmidt. You know, the fisherman, stocky with big, strong hands.
So tonight we're going to keep some of these bluegills and we're going to cook them on the grill.
Well, hey.
And you can let me know what you think, how it compares to Phil Schmidt's.
I say put the gill on the grill. Hey, that rhymes.
So we're going to make some homemade potato pancakes, and we're going to grill some bluegills
because
tonight.
I'm with one of the best captains here in the waters of the... I just keep catching fish because of you.
Well, and you know, this is a great thing to do if you want to bring kids and introduce them into fishing. Or if you just want to get fish to eat.
The greatest thing...
There's just there's a lot of them in here.
The greatest thing you can do for a son or even a daughter, I'd say, is play a game of catch. You know, everybody will say, Dad, thanks for playing the game of catch with me. There's nothing quite like it. Or, Dad, thanks for having me catch my first fish. They'll never forget it. My first ball game, probably at Wrigley or Boston, maybe New York.
So it's kind of ironic. I've never fished with my dad.
That is very unusual.
I've learned how to fish from my godfather, who was my uncle, and it was an interesting experience. And I've just always loved it. You know, I used to play a lot of ball, and then when I switched to fishing, you know, his memory kept me going, and things he taught me when I was younger, you know, in the walleye world, because he fished tournaments. You know, he owned a tackle shop.
Oh my goodness.
So, and I actually learned, ironically, on a center console on Lake Oahe. You know, you see some center consoles on here in Lake Geneva, but not a lot of them are really serious fishermen. They just kind of cruise around, it seems like.
Yeah, I think out in the water you almost just get tranquilized, like by the beauty and the scenery and the water and the flow of the water. It just kind of hypnotizes you into a state of calmness.
Well, and the beauty with like what we're doing now, bluegill fishing, you can do this from shore. You don't have to be in a boat.
Okay,
a lot
well,
of
yeah.
lakes have some access points where you can go fishing. Pretty much every stream, every lake, every pond has bluegills. So it's something you can do everywhere. You know, so especially for kids, teach them how to fish, go out, relax, have a good time. Or even, you know, I go out with some of my friends and we don't go out in the boat. We'll go sit and fish from shore. And it can be a great time. Just take a lawn chair and hang out, take a cooler.
Well, I love the saying, feed me fish today and I eat well. Teach me to fish and I eat well for a lifetime. I love that saying.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You really don't have to have a great skill. You just have to have patience and you have to stick to it. You just cannot catch fish in an hour and get up and go. You know, it's just, it doesn't go like that. You have to have perseverance.
Stay tuned for more Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped after these messages.
What a show! I cannot believe this. Dale, you are like the best panfish guy I know now, right? So, folks, let me tell you, again, I always wanted to do a panfish show, always. And it's hard to find people that will take you out to specifically target panfish. Dale here, out here on Lake Geneva, did that for me. So, Dale, let's recap a little bit about what we did, how deep of water we were fishing, the whole thing.
So, you know, we were drop shotting, which is, you know, ironically a bass presentation,
right?
With just, it's a weight on the bottom of the end of your line with a hook tied up part way up to keep your bait off the bottom. And the panfish, we caught them from 28 feet of water to 50 feet of water.
That to me is like, and there's no structure.
Nothing. It's just a drop off, and they were actually suspended. Most of the fish stayed around that 35-foot mark. You know, we were watching them on the Lowrance Active Target, and you would see them in big schools at about 35 feet, and then they would go up to about 25 feet. They were big schools.
Yeah.
And most of the fish would hit on the drop. Even though you have a big weight and you're sinking it down, you know, we would cast out, close the bail. You know, you cast out 35 feet, close the bail, and it would just swing down to that 35-foot depth, so you didn't have to check your depth.
Right.
And we put on a clinic on those things.
It was, folks, I'm telling you, it's amazing out here on Lake Geneva here in southern Wisconsin. But the other thing I want to know, too, is what are they there for? Is it the water temperature? Is it the food? What could possibly be there?
Well, We saw it on the graph a few times where there was actually small minnows out there.
Right.
Fry from fish hatches from this year. And they were out there eating all that bait. The bait has moved out. Like I just did a little underwater footage right here in 6 feet of water, and there's no fish here.
Right.
We can't see a fish. They're all out in that deeper, cooler water, and all the bait fish moved out there, so all the other fish just follow them.
You know, and real quickly too, you guys got a lot of rain recently. Over the last 2 months, you got a lot of rain. How did that affect fishing here on this lake?
You know, this lake doesn't really get affected with that. The water levels don't change a lot because it has a spillway, so it just goes down into the White River. So we don't see a difference like you would on a river or some of those other bodies of water.
Right.
And this lake has a constant flow anyway because there's a lot of natural springs because it's a natural lake.
Oh.
So it's spring fed, that's why it's so clear.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you the question of why is this lake so clear? You could see down, we were filming fish. How deep down were they?
We could see them 20 feet down.
20 feet down, easily.
The weeds here go to 24 feet.
Wow.
Because the sun penetration is so good at that depth.
And then, of course, the bait we used, they were hammering night crawlers.
Yeah, we were using leeches and pieces of night crawler. We'd tear a night crawler in half, sometimes into thirds, and just put that piece of night crawler on, and they would attack it.
I know, it was like I was like a little kid going, "Oh, I got another one!" You know, it's like reel them up, and it's like get the fray ball.
We had a lot of fun with it.
It was, and you know, here's a thing for you to talk about too. Let's bring your kids out here.
Yes, it's a great opportunity to bring kids out, get them into fishing, get them on a lot of fish, because kids will get bored easy, right? They're in the electronic world now. It's about instant gratification.
Right.
Well, come out here and get these bluegills and you can get it, because we caught, I don't know, over 100 of them easy.
Easy. It's just, it was that ridiculous.
Yep, and you can drop it straight over the side and catch them. We did throw a couple slip bobbers out.
And we caught
some on those too.
And we caught a bonus fish.
Yes.
Tell us about the bonus fish.
I did get a nice 19-inch walleye drop shot too, because it's one of our techniques we use for smallmouth and walleyes too.
Right.
And smallmouth and walleyes will typically swim on the bottom, and the panfish are suspended. When they get hungry, they just swim up and get them.
Right.
So when we saw the marks come through that were bigger, we knew they were either bass, smallmouth bass or walleyes swimming through.
Right. So it was really fun. You got a great boat. We had great laughs. Bobby G running the camera for us did a great job. I was just like, wow, what better time if you want to come to southern Wisconsin.
Well, and you can't beat the beautiful weather. We got a very light breeze. It's sunny.
Right.
It's just a beautiful day out.
So how do people find you? How do people find you if they want to go fishing to Lake Geneva?
They can go on my website, theoutdoorexp.com, or they can email me at theoutdoorexp@yahoo.com.
Or can they call you?
They can call 262-903-5460.
All right, folks. What a time I had. I'm just like out of words for this one because it was so much fun with Dale and Bobby G. So with that, we'll talk to you all next time.
Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped is brought to you in part by Cooler Guard with the cleaning power of enzymes, Fish Donkey, Hoffman Lures, White Rocks Design Studio, the official design company for Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped, Sugar Mountain Trading Company, Okuma Fishing, Get Inspired, Bennington Self Storage, P-Line, J. Robinson Outdoors, Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped hot sauce with that big craft heat and that big craft taste, the Outdoor Experience Guide Service serving southern Wisconsin for over 20 years, Corker Boats, and a proud member of the Southwestern Vermont Chamber of Commerce.
Again, may God bless you. Adios. Wise men say, only fools rush in. But I can't help falling in love.